Welcome back to the channel. Daniel Hall here, and today we have something very, very special for you. I have my good friend and Lisa Rothstein, who is a cartoonist for the New Yorker magazine, as well as a former Madison Avenue ad person. And she's going to teach you a very, very cool app that she uses called Procreate. And I know you may not be able to see it here, but it's this $10 app right here called Procreate. And super useful if you are doing any kind of illustration work, and it's only about $10, as you will learn from Lisa here in just a second. So if you are looking to get started and hit the ground running with Procreate app, this is your video. Also, if you like this content, I would really appreciate if you would throw a Hulk smash on that like button, and of course, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe as well. We do this kind of content all the time for folks just like you, and of course, hit the little bell notification as well. So with that, let's jump into this training with Lisa Rothstein teaching us how to use the Procreate app.
I'm going to show you my whole setup here. I have an iPad Pro. I shouldn't have disconnected it, darn it. I have an iPad Pro. It's a 12.9 inch. It's the biggest one that they make. This is a case that did not come with it. And in iPad Pro, I have a program called Procreate. If you see at the bottom, it's this little black one with the pink and yellow. See, that's it. Whoops, that's Procreate right there. So Procreate lets you draw like pictures like this. Trying to get the reflection off of it. I just showed this one to an editor, to a children's book editor, and this is a study of different kinds of movement and hand positions and things like that, showing expression with people's hands. So that was one of the things she asked us to do. So you see, I did the cello player. Look at the hand on top with the the one that's doing the chords, and then you've got the conductor at the bottom, and a little boy. None of these pictures have to do with each other. It's just they're just sketches. But what's great about Procreate, and Photoshop does this too. So if you know Photoshop, then you'll understand Procreate great. And I have not touched Photoshop since I got this product, which is only $10. iPad is about $1,000. Pencil is about another $100. This app, Procreate, is $10. Okay. What's great is you have these layers. So if I want to turn off the color, see, I just have black and white line there. The great thing about that is that you can work on the color by itself without messing up your line. So it's the same thing with Photoshop. If you import your black and white doodles, like if I wanted to bring these doodles into Procreate, I could just take a picture of them and bring them in, and then I could color on top of it. In fact, I can do that right now. I'll take a picture right now and I'll show you what I'm doing. And that way you can see what I mean. So right now, I'm just going to go out of Procreate and just go to the camera app, just like any other camera, and I'm going to take a picture of this. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. You won't be able to see me taking a picture, but you know what taking a picture looks like. So I'm going to take a picture of that. It's not the best picture, but it's going to be good enough. So now I'm going to show you what happens inside of Procreate. So I'm going to go and put you on my webcam. So now you can see my iPad. Yes, you can see my iPad. I'm trying to get it straight there. So inside of Procreate, this is where all my other work already is. Inside of Procreate, I'm just going to start a new canvas. And then one of the choices is let's see, where is that? Insert a photo. So I'm going to click insert a photo. I don't know if you can see that. I'll move it up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. It says insert a photo. So I'm going to insert a photo. It's going to go to my photos, and I'll just take the last one. So there it is. Okay, it's not the best photo because I don't have the best lighting in here today. It keeps the sun, and it keeps going in and out of the clouds, and every time I move things around. So now what I've got here. This is not the best example because I don't want to have to go into the whole thing about taking out the background here. But for now, I have the when I do the layers, this is layer one. This photograph is layer one. You can see a little picture of it right there. So the way I would color this in would normally be to create another layer, and I would call that. I would just rename it and call it color. So it knows I do that, so it already had it as a preset. The problem is that in order for the color layer to show up with a line on top of it, which is what you want, I would have to go into this photograph and figure out, I don't remember how to do it, figure out how to make the, I'm going to have to come and show you how to do this, how to make the back, this a transparent picture. Because what's going to happen now, if I try to color this in on a different layer, this white of the paper is still going to show up. So I'm looking to see if there's a way here to do that quickly without taking up too much time. But normally, what I would want to do would be to turn this layer one into a transparent layer. But because I can't remember how to do that at this moment, and I know there is a way. Because I don't know how to do that at this moment, I'm going to skip that part. I'm just going to color right on the this. Normally I wouldn't do that because it would because it's going to. Well, I'll still color on a different layer. I'm just going to it's not going to show through. It's going to be on the top. I'll still do that. So I'm going to go on the color layer. So what I'm going to be coloring on is not the photograph. I'm going to be coloring on a different layer. And what you can do in not only can you pick your colors from all of these colors. Let's say I want to pick this nice bright red. I can pick what kind of pen or what kind of brush I want to use. So if I pick inking, I have technical pen. I have all of these different kinds of pen. If I want airbrushing, I have all these different kinds of airbrushes. And you can add brushes from other people. So I have watercolors that I added from other people. But for right now, I think I'm sketching as like here's a pencil or a pastel. And so they all look different. So let me show you here. Here's a pastel. Looks like that. It even looks like the paper is made out of pastel paper. See that? A tooth. If I want to make that go away, I can make that go away. If I want, if I'd rather just use a pencil, the pencil just looks like that. I can make the pencil darker, and I can make it bigger. You see how that works? So I'm going to, I like to use, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I seem to default to this technical pen. So let's say I want to make this elf like a red and green Christmas elf. So I'm going to give him a red hat. So yeah, I'm coloring that in. Normally I would do this on a layer that was underneath it. So I'm covering up the line, which I don't really want to do. So I would just erase that part and just make the line show through. But see, it's a lot better when you can just make the picture itself transparent, and then you don't have to worry about that. So let's say he's red and green, it's Christmas, so make this part of green, and this is very rough, but you can see like how I'm able to color that in. So all I've done is bring in this photograph. Let's imagine I'm going to do a different kind of let's say I want to airbrush instead. I'll do a soft brush, and I want to give this woman airbrush hair. Oh God, that looks terrible. She's going to have this kind of silver colored hair. See, it's a different texture than what I was doing before. Here's an orange cat, very orange. If I don't like that orange, I can just go back and pick a different color, like this one, make it less. Yeah, I don't really love that either. But see, if I were to, what I don't love about doing it this way is if I was able to make this transparent. Oh, you can see. If I was able to make this transparent, I wouldn't be coloring over the line like that. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Normally, what I'm saying is you would want to make this drawing transparent so you'd be able to put the color underneath it. See, if I put the color underneath this layer right now, so you can whatever's on top here is going to be the thing that shows. So if this were a transparent layer, I could put the color underneath it and it would still show. But see what happens when I put it now, the color goes away because it's underneath the white paper. So I hope that makes sense. I know there's a way to make this drawing transparent inside of Procreate, but I have not. I don't have it. I don't have that knowledge able to pull up right there in this moment. But you can see it's really easy once you've got the picture. Once you've got the picture in, you can certainly you can do all kinds of things. That's a bizarre flesh colored cat. I think I'll make this. I think I'll do that with a piece instead. So anyway, you can see how that works. But anyway, that's called Procreate, and it's a great. And I've done all of these. I did this image in Procreate for this edit that I was telling you about. This donkey. Why is it not getting smaller? So you can move things around. You can make them smaller, bigger. So that if you want to work on a detail, you can make it super big. So you can work on it. It's really cool. What else have I done in here?
But, Lisa, the Procreate is not required.
No, but it's my favorite. It is my favorite. There are all kinds of other drawing apps on here, but it's just people have been asking like how to add color and stuff like that. I've had a lot of technical things. We did this last week. This dragon. Again, this came from a photograph. I'm going to show you that. This came from a photograph that we took off of Google Images. This is a photograph of an illustration, and then we sketched something over it. We made the photograph kind of disappear a little bit. We sketched something over it, and we used that sketch to create this drawing. And then we added the color and the background, and we just got rid of the photograph. So that's the other reason why I really like working digitally, is because you're able to kind of cheat and use photographs, but as kind of a guide. But that's kind of like as Daniel says, that's not the basics of doodling. That is just more like how do you finish things, how do you share them. It does make it a lot easier to share things when it's already imported into a program like that. But really all you need is a piece of paper, a magic marker, and or pencils. These are my favorite pencils, by the way. They're different. They come in different kinds, but this is called. See if I can make this show up. This is called Blackwing. They're expensive. They're like a couple of bucks a pencil, but they're really, really good. They come in different hardnesses. This is kind of like the medium one. Hard to see because it's all shiny. But anyway, I use these all the time, and these Pentel sign pen markers, and I still use these a lot. So there's nothing wrong with doing that and just taking photographs and uploading them. You can also just color them in the old-fashioned way with colored pencils or magic markers. But what I prefer is not to do that, only because if you've drawn something you really like and you don't want to mess it up, you want to be able to try out colors without messing it up, it's great to have the drawing preserved as a photograph or something, and then be able to try out colors and say, oh, I don't really like that, but you haven't messed up your original drawing. So I do think even whatever you do, or however you decide to finish your pictures, you should definitely scan them or photograph them when they're still in the doodle stage, so that you have that saved while you work on a copy, if that makes any sense.
Isn't Procreate a cool app? And for the money, essentially $10, it is definitely well worth it. Hey, listen, if you got value from today's training, I'd really appreciate if you would go ahead and Hulk smash that like button, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done that, and hit the little bell notification as well. Also, if you like this kind of training from Lisa Rothstein, we have all kinds of great training from her, completely free, no opt-in required. That's available over at realfastdoodleprofits.com/FB. I'll leave the link for that in the chat. Finally, I want you to use this stuff to illustrate your books, to up your social media performance, your marketing, your branding. This is where you can learn all of that great stuff here on this channel, because I try to be a blessing to you, and I want you to go out and be a blessing to the people that you serve. So go out and be the blessing.